Good afternoon from Central Park in New York City, the heart of Midtown. Biggest snowstorm of winter and probably the biggest snowstorm in at least 8 years here for the Big Apple. This appears to be the place to be for sledding. Fantastic scenes. How's everybody doing on this Sunday evening? I know it's just past 6 p.m. in the UK. It's just past 1 p.m. here on the east coast of the United States, where we're in the grip of Arctic air mass, kind of on the fringes of the coldest air mass on the planet at the minute. You can see here the background. The big city is turned into a winter wonderland. Check this out, folks. A little bit hard to see comments. I do apologise if there's questions. Hopefully my phone won't die. It's already died since I've left the hotel room about an hour roughly ago. But this live stream may be cut short if the phone dies, unfortunately. So obviously it's a different story on the west coast of Europe. We've got wind, rain, threats of rain. Temperature's not quite cold enough for snow. But up over high ground, we're certainly seeing big snowfall. Now, I might fall on my backside as well, which would be quite... Whoa, almost. Check this out. Yeah. Beautiful. Good evening to Frog's Legs Matthew, to Richard Trott, to Mark Lenane, I think that is, to Paul James. I know Paul's not been having a good time with sciatica recently, so I'm certainly thinking about you, my friend. We've got 39 concurrent viewers. Hit the button. How many live streams do you see from the midst of a New York City major snowstorm that is affecting nearly 2,500 miles of the United States? Millions and millions of people affected by bitterly cold conditions and heavy snow as well as ice. Look at the snow blowing off the roof of this building here. And if you want to see my ugly face, there we go. I'm well bundled up. Because I'll tell you what, by the way, temperatures are cold. 11 Fahrenheit, 11 Celsius. We've got a wind chill of minus 18, minus 20. And I would say there's a good at least half a foot of snow there on the ground. I do apologise if it's bouncing around a wee bit as well. Good evening to Hebridean. Good evening to Glory, I think it is. Trans Guru with 3. Good afternoon. Good evening. Whatever time you're watching this. If you're in the UK, it's what? Back at 6 p.m. Yeah. Been in New York City many times. First time right enough in 13 years, but never seen anything like this before. This is dreamy stuff. This is fairy tale stuff. And I'll tell you what, it's been deadly, this cold spell. At least 5 people in the New York City area have succumbed to what appears to be the cold. Unfortunately, I think it's homeless folk. Lindsay and I were in a McDonald's there recently, and you could see homeless folks taking shelter in McDonald's. Quite sad to see that, but at the same time, at least they're keeping warm, which is good to see. We don't want any more deaths. This appears to be a body of water here in the front. That looks frozen over. No surprise. Maximum temperature yesterday only 17 Fahrenheit, or what, minus 8 Celsius. Wind chills throughout much of the day were in the minus 10, minus 14 range. Got 42 concurrent viewers at the moment. Thanks to Lindsay for the kind donation. Snuggle up warm in the hotel room. Enjoying reading the New York Post. Trying to get some internet signal as well. Yeah, it's busy. People are enjoying it. It's a Sunday, thankfully, so people are getting the benefit of the Local authorities are working pretty hard to clear the streets. All the bin lorries got the snow plows thrown on, and it's probably one of the best cities in the world for snow clearance, it has to be said, but it is still coming down hard here. It'll be interesting to see how much snow actually is the total from this storm. Yeah, that's a body of water frozen over. Certainly wouldn't, sorry pal, get in people's road. Massive thank you to Richard. Wow, that is very kind of you, my friend. Thank you for the kind donation. Thanks for all you do. Thank you very much, and I do greatly appreciate everybody's support as well. Epic scenes here. Drifts as well, I've noticed. You can actually see that here. I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but yeah, it's drifting. Wind stinging. What else have I got? Yeah, that's very kind of you, Richard. Thank you. Getting into Emma Lindstead, I think it is. Look at this, skiing. I'll just stand still so you can enjoy this. Live Central Park in Midtown New York City, in the midst of a snowstorm, in the midst of what is unfortunately a deadly Arctic outbreak. The coldest of winter by a long shot. Temperatures into the -30s, -40s in the upper Midwest. Wind chills down to 50s below zero. And the snow is still coming down hard here. They were expecting 8 to 12 inches of snow in the city. It looks as if that is going to be a pretty good call. Could we even see a snow for the first time in nearly a decade here in New York? And of course, the west of Europe is missing out. Will that continue? That is going to be the question. Do we see that is trying to push southwestwards over Europe? The battle against the Atlantic. We've got the Atlantic that is pretty strong influence at the moment, pushing back the cold air. But do we see the dam break? That's going to be the question, and I don't know. I simply don't know. Now check out the video from a couple of days ago talking about the early prediction for February. There's a lot of options on the table. January, folks, has pretty much played out as what the forecast for winter was back in the end of November. Essentially what I said was mild December, cold first half of January, milder second half of January. I think that has pretty much played out, actually. Expect that we will get some more winter in Western Europe here, but it's certainly making for a difficult situation for northwestern Europe here. My hands are pretty cold, I must admit. I was actually going to try and, sorry folks, I was actually going to try and get to the Belvedere Castle, which is home to the official Central Park weather station, but I might not do that today. We're still got another 2 full days, Monday and Tuesday. We were supposed to go up to the Rockefeller Center this evening at 6:30, but we've abandoned that idea. I don't think it's even closed, but you're not going to see much. You're not going to see much. So we've got Frog's Legs Master saying January very disappointing down south. It certainly was, my friend. And it's difficult, very, very difficult to get snow in the south of the UK these days. But the polar vortex is well and truly bang slap over North America, the coldest air mass of the entire planet. I think we're potentially going to see the coldest conditions of all in the Big Apple, probably as Lindsay and I depart on Tuesday evening. But we'll wait and see what happens. Hands are a wee bit cold. This definitely won't be an hour-long video. I'm actually surprised that the phone hasn't died just yet. But I do apologise if I'm not being able to read out your comment due to the conditions, the circumstances. I'm trying to see if I can... Ah, there we go. There we go. That's better. How's everybody doing this Sunday evening? Good evening to Neil Cutler. Hello from Central Park in New York. Can you hear me okay? I've got the face mask on, trying to cover myself from the cold. Yes, like Lindsay says, I'm standing in the middle of a snowstorm in New York. Show the love by hitting that like button. More importantly, hit that subscribe button. This is a pretty unique live stream, I must admit. And it is very, very closed in. Let's see if I can clear this for you. Are you a Scot, says Spiral Moss? No, I'm not a Scot. Lived in Scotland 35 years, but born in Newry, Northern Ireland, back in 1983. Left when I was 4 years of age, and I've still got the accent. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to make my way back. I'll keep recording until this dies. Is that New York? Yes, as the title says, in a snowstorm in New York, so you guessed correctly. This is Central Park. Sunday the 25th of January, I believe it is. I know it's Sunday, but I'm trying to remember the date. My right hand's frozen. This is probably not going to continue for much longer, folks, unfortunately, because it's a little bit cold. So we'll wait and see what happens over the coming days. I haven't been able to look properly at the weather back home because I'm on holiday, trying to take a wee bit of time off. There's plenty of pre-recorded videos. There is a global weather report tomorrow that looks at the 2025 global temperature as well as the continents. So I'll release that tomorrow. It was going to get released today, but yeah. Instead, I'm doing a live stream from New York in a pretty significant snowstorm, it has to be said. Let's go up here and see all the sledging that is going on. Hit that like button, folks. Greatly appreciate that. Hope I don't ruin my phone here actually, because it's pretty wet. What's the weather conditions like where you are? Yep, get the coffee on, Lindsay. I would appreciate that. It's a bit cold out here. Check this out. Look at this, man. You do not see this every day, by the way. Epic scenes. Extreme cold. Significant snow and ice stretching from Texas all the way up to New England. If you're just tuning in, welcome to a snowy Central Park in Midtown Manhattan. Temperature still, by the way, about -11. Wind chills -18 Celsius. We're into the middle portions of the afternoon nearly. People are enjoying the snow. We've got 70 concurrent viewers at the moment here, so thank you for tuning in on this Saturday afternoon, Eastern time. I know it's the evening time back in the UK. We're 5 hours behind the UK. Let me see if I can get up these stairs without breaking my neck and making a bit of a... I was going to swear there, but... So probably the coldest temperatures of the winter will descend upon the mid-Atlantic and the northeast once this system pulls out. Likely to be a week long of pretty much sub-freezing temperatures here as well, by the way. Let's see if we can get out onto the streets and let's see what the road conditions are doing. But there's certainly no traffic on the park roads anyway.
It hasn't been like this today.
So let's see what's happening. Tell you what, you don't see scenes like this in New York often these days. Got 76 current viewers at the moment. We've only got 27 likes. Do me a favour, folks, and hit that like button. I'm freezing my fingers off here to go live to you. Let's see what the traffic conditions are. The roads are snow-packed, not in great condition. But the city is working hard so that the schools will not be shut tomorrow. 5 people have succumbed to what is likely the cold here. Homeless people trying to seek shelter as much as they can. But look at this here, look. Bit of a way out here. Nasty conditions, but fantastic conditions at the same time if you love this kind of thing. Ooh. Never been in New York, says Paul. Certainly would recommend it, my friend. 88 concurrent viewers at the moment here. Be sure to hit that like button, folks. I'm coming to you live from New York in the midst of the biggest snowstorm in probably a decade. The call for 8 to 12 inches of snow looks as if that's been a pretty good guesstimation. Do you want to see me? How you doing? Yeah, I'm well protected. Apart from my hands are feel like they're about to fall off. I was going to cross the road there, but the lights are about to change. So obviously this cold colliding with milder air to the south. We've got an active jet stream. That active jet stream is pushing back the cold that is trying to push southwestwards over Europe. We've got very cold air over Eastern Europe, and that is getting held back by an active jet. Buses are still running. New York City is a hardy bunch. If this was back at home, I can guarantee you the buses would be off. I can guarantee you the schools would be off tomorrow. But the mayor, governor of New York, is adamant to keep the schools open tomorrow. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Stand in the middle of the road. a wee bit of a reprieve from the wind and the snow. Richard said dull but cold here. Frog's Legs Matthew saying damp, 6 Celsius. Cloudy, 5 Celsius here, says Paul. Epic says the capped 3403, I think it says. Check out the depth of the snow here. Piled up because of the ploughs. So the frozen, my phone's got basically melted snow that is now frozen on my screen, so I'm a wee bit cautious about my phone getting ruined. So I've been on for 22 minutes. I'll probably close off in just a second. We've got 89 concurrent viewers. Before you leave today's stream, folks, an epic one from New York. Be sure to hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. I do greatly appreciate it, if you don't mind. This was booked, by the way, back in April, so this is just Saw's Law. This is pot luck that I get this kind of weather conditions.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to actually pull me on here.
Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday afternoon if you're on the East Coast, and if you're in the UK, hope you're enjoying your evening. The snow is due to die off later on tonight, I think. But cold will continue. This isn't going away anytime soon. Especially with the cold locking in, this snow isn't going to disappear. But we've got snow down in the southern plain states. We've got ice that is causing a lot of power outages in places such as Arkansas. I think Tennessee's got the biggest amount of power loss from this storm, but this storm is one of the biggest in a couple of decades, I think, for such a vast area of the United States, covering anywhere from Texas all the way up to Boston and points further north as well. But New York City is getting hammered, and Vogan is here to cover it. Couldn't be more happier. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that my hands feel as if they're frozen. There's only 50 likes, folks, and there's 91 people viewing, so please show the love, show the support. Shall we cross the road? Let's cross the road. This is truly a winter weather lover's dream, isn't it? Fairy tale stuff. I can actually start to feel blood going back into my middle finger again. By the way, I was starting to panic there a wee bit because I could hardly move the middle finger in my right hand. If you're just joining, welcome to the live stream. Walking along the edge of Central Park. I'm on 5th Avenue, just crossing over 65th Street. Still coming down here. It's more when the wind picks up, it really can be pretty brutal. The temperature stayed lower than I think expected. Still talking, what, about 12 Fahrenheit? Now 14 Fahrenheit is -10. So you're still hovering between -10 and -11 Celsius. Got 96 people watching today's stream, so thank you very much for tuning in. So, mixture of heavy snowfall, heavy freezing rain that is causing the biggest amount of power loss in parts of the south, mid-south, the southern plain states. We've got bitterly cold temperatures all the way down into Texas. And that is stretching, heavy precipitation falling in all forms from parts of South Texas all the way up to New England, covering an area of some 2,300 miles. We've still got this battle going on over the UK and Ireland. Colder to the east, milder to the west. We've got areas of low pressure getting wound up aboard a pretty strong jet stream. Now over the next few days we still have relatively low temperatures, but not as cold as I thought, I have to be honest. But as we step out of January and into the third of the 3 meteorological months, it's going to be interesting to see, do we get some cold or does the Atlantic win the battle? That is going to be the question. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Kevin Barber, good afternoon to yourself. Howdy, Ian Butler. Cold rain, or what Joy says, frogs legs, Matthew. I know, my man. I know. It's not the best. Howdy, Tim. Tim saying back home again, question mark. Not quite sure. I'm in New York at the moment. but back home again Tuesday. I'm not quite sure if that's what you mean or not. No yellow snow, no, Kevin. Avoid the Yellowstone. Thanks, Matthew. So like I say, our trip to the top of the rock, Lindsay and I decided to cancel that. I thought there's no point, you're not going to really see anything. So our 3-day pass runs out today. That's fine. We've done a lot. We've done the 9/11 museum, which was very sobering experience, fascinating, interesting, but very sad at the same time. We've done top of the world Trade Center, the new one obviously, also known as the Freedom Tower, fantastic. We've done the Empire State Building, we've done the Edge. The Edge is probably the best one actually, that I've best observation deck that I've ever experienced. There's the Plaza Hotel, by the way, the world famous Plaza Hotel. A lot of people will remember that from Kevin and Home Alone. Lindsay and I snuck in there, what was it, yesterday or the day before? Walking along the edge of Central Park on 5th Avenue. Maybe we'll go for a wee donner down 5th Avenue. Will we do that? Yeah, let's do that. We'll also pass the Plaza Hotel. 83 concerned viewers. There's a nice little birdie. Tweet, tweet. Yeah, well, we're on 5th Avenue, but let's do a wee bit of 5th Avenue, the urban element. We've got the park on the right hand side, we've got buildings on the left hand side. Little walking tour live stream. There we go. Recognise that building, everybody? Ding dang dong, the world famous Plaza Hotel in New York City. Don't know it word for word right enough. Guess that's what Lindsay and I'll have to watch when we go home now, since we've been inside it. First time I'd been in it. Been in New York before, but I hadn't stepped into the Plaza Hotel. I think it's what, 780 quid at the cheapest price for a night. I think I'll pass on that one. I don't think it's worth that. Maybe it is. I don't know. Glad you're both making amazing memories together at MarkVogan, says Richard. Thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, we're having a fantastic time, thanks. I hope you're doing okay, not working too hard. So these big tall, super thinny, super skinny. This is part of Billionaires Row. Now, one of these penthouses, one floor, you're talking $50 million. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. 50 million quid if you want to buy one. You can hardly see it today, but you can see like a kind of shadow. There's the plaza. Back to normal in terms of the channel, by the way. Middle of next week, we've got a global weather report, edition 170 I think it is, if memory serves me correct, tomorrow. Then I will try and do a weather update coming up probably Tuesday, but still have video content 7 days a week, despite the fact that I'm on holiday at the moment. lights have changed, that's why I'm sprinting. Car stuck. So, walking down 5th Avenue, snow is still coming down, by the way, but thankfully the wind is on my back, whereas when I left the hotel it was in my front, and it was pretty hard walking in that because you can't really see anything. I'm doing pretty well, 36 minutes, 97 people on today's stream. The time, I don't actually know what the time is, but it's probably, what, 7ish? Back in the UK, 2ish here on the east coast of the United States. But yeah, this is like scenes that you would see in books. This will certainly be the biggest snowstorm probably in at least 8 years for the city itself. I think the battery might be running out, so I'm going to have to call it quits here, folks. But we're walking down 5th Avenue. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, what's left of your Sunday. And I'll have a video coming up tomorrow. Then I'll do a weather report on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that, folks. And have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for watching. And remember to hit that like button before you leave. Bye-bye.